Over the last 3 years, this is an issue I've personally had to deal with, so I know how annoying it is when ancillary carbs eat into your total daily calorie budget. I will say that when I first switched to a vegan diet, I was in an energy surplus. I was looking to gain weight, so the tag-along carbs didn't really cause an issue. They were kind of a benefit to me. But as I've looked to lose weight and lose body fat, it has become a problem. So I've had to develop a strategy to overcome that, and hopefully by sharing this with you, it will be helpful. What is the problem? Well, when your calories are limited and you have to get in a certain amount of protein per day, the tag-along carbs that come with those protein sources can eat into your calorie budget and leave you with very little flexibility. For example, if you get quite a lot of your protein from beans and lentils, those are going to come along with ancillary carbs, which are going to eat into your remaining calories and leave you with less to play with at the end of the day. So I like to employ a combination of two methods to combat the problem. Firstly, reducing the number of ancillary carbs that you're consuming. Seems easier said than done, but all you got to do is be selective with your food choices. It is generally the case that whole plant foods come along with additional carbohydrates, so I can understand why it becomes a dilemma. But if you just replace one of those protein carb meals with a protein fat meal, then it goes a substantial way to reducing the overall intake of carbs for the day. One suggestion would be to opt for a meal that consists of either edamame beans, tofu, or tempeh. Have a little look at this example. This is covering a full day's meals, so you can see the total macros are 120 grams of protein. By the way, this is the amount that I personally get in per day. 172 grams of carbs, 25 grams of fat, and only 1300 calories. Even my female clients, the lowest any of them are on is 1600 calories per day. So with that example, that would leave them with 300 calories to play with. So it gives them some flexibility, and they've already hit a decent amount of protein. They're hitting the same protein that I have already, and they've got 300 calories to play with. Now, most guys won't need to start a diet on less than 2000 calories. So they've got 700 calories to play with. So clearly it's not that difficult for me to create plans that are low enough in calories to facilitate losing body fat whilst also hitting ample protein and not overdoing the carbohydrate. Now, I do make my client meal plans a little bit more interesting than this one. This one is very sparse, but deliberately so I can show you just the bare minimum that you need to get in and how easy it is to do that on a low calorie budget. So let's just run through it very quickly. We start the day with a smoothie. Omega-3 fatty acids from the ground chia and flax seeds, antioxidants from the berries, and my recommended protein of choice, Perform from Viva Life. Moving on to lunch, a protein fat combo using tofu like I suggested, and we're only getting 25 grams of protein for the day from it. So it's not like we're relying on whole food soy products for our protein. That's about 20% of our daily intake of protein from whole food soy, so it's not overdoing it. And by the way, I'm going to have a video covering everything to do with soy coming up. You don't need to be coy with soy, but make sure you are getting most of your soy from whole food sources. And then for dinner, a protein carb rich meal, lentils. We've even got some additions in there for flavoring, got some onions, garlic, and chopped tomatoes. Don't say that I don't treat you. Oh, and also some broccoli because cruciferous veg for the win. So that's one strategy, to be very selective with your food choices. Now the second strategy is just to create the energy output to facilitate the additional calories that you're getting from those tag-along carbs. How do you increase energy output? Well, you got to get moving more. You got to do more exercise, do some more cardio. Cardio serves more than one purpose because it's more than just a calorie burn when you're losing weight. Often you'll hear people say, well, I can diet just manipulating my calories and I don't need to do any cardio at all. And whilst that is true, it's not necessarily efficient and it's not necessarily optimal. Cardio has substantial benefits beyond energy expenditure. For example, it improves nutrient partitioning, increases insulin sensitivity, it stimulates the vascular system, it promotes active recovery, just to name a few benefits that it provides you that are all going to help you with your fat loss journey. By the way, you don't have to choose one strategy or the other. I would recommend doing both, so being selective with food choices and also increasing your energy output, because that's going to give you the most flexibility with your overall daily calorie budget. Also, I think I should say that most people's protein intake is probably elevated way beyond where it needs to be for optimal muscle growth and repair. Like I said, I consume about 120 grams to maybe 140 grams per day maximum. And even if I wasn't employing the two methods I talked about, the ancillary carbs that I get as a result of consuming that amount of protein from whole food plant sources wouldn't put me over on my daily calories. By consistently trying to get in this huge amount of protein, you're not actually going to be improving your ability to build muscle and repair muscle tissue, but you are going to end up getting a ton of ancillary carbs. So you're just creating a problem for yourself that doesn't really need to be there. In summary, be selective with your food choices, ramp up your energy expenditure, and also give some consideration to the amount of protein you're intaking. I hope this video is helpful, and I'll see you guys soon.